Hey everybody, back for another 5 things from this week's episode of The Bachelorette. Alright, first up, I want to talk about Ben and Tayshia. Two pretty huge moments I think happened for these two. Like, first off, they had the one-on-one date this week, and it went very well. We had Ben really opening up on some things I was very shocked to hear. And then one little tidbit from Tayshia at the end. Let's just hop into what Ben revealed during the one-on-one that left me so speechless. So, he's kind of struggled with opening up all season long. It's been a repeated theme, him opening up about being obese as a child, and basically hating himself, wanting to make a change. And tonight we see Tayshia really like, hey, like, I know you're hiding something. I know you got some darkness in your past. Like, what's going on? And then Ben opens up and reveals that he had 2 failed suicide attempts between a year and 2 years ago, and how his sister unknowingly helped to save his life. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I know that it's COVID's going on and we're supposed to be isolating ourselves at home, but I really hope that wherever Ben is, he was sitting watching this episode with his sister tonight, just so that she knew how much her love means to him. Just a very deep emotional moment, and I also really appreciated the Bachelor putting up the little suicide prevention hotline as we went to commercial break there. We've had several moments this season where we've gone and delved into some deeper issues and things that many men struggle with, whether it's depression, body image, all of that, and even more stuff. It's good to see that some of these things are being discussed on such a huge platform right now, and I'm glad that The Bachelorette is not just editing them out. All right, our last little tidbit here was, as the date is ending, we cut to a little thing Tayshia's saying behind the scenes, and she said at the end of the date says, "I truly love Ben." And that is very interesting, because we are now in a situation where we're coming down to the end, and tonight we have Tayshia open up and reveal that she's in love with one of the guys, and another guy who we'll get to at number 2 on our list here, that she's falling in love with him. So, we're not even to hometowns yet, and Tayshia is already in love with 2 of these guys. All right, let's jump right over to that. Our second on the list, the lie detector date. And more specifically, Zac on the lie detector date. So first off, let's talk about this setup. Like, this was no lie detector. They had a computer with a fake heartbeat on the screen, which may have been superimposed after the fact, and a box with 3 lights on it. That was no lie detector test. I don't care. It was no lie detector test, and this was full on a setup. I'm just gonna say it. Tayshia, she gets some softball questions. She gets some questions lobbed to her from JoJo, and then we hop into the guys, and really, the big one here was Zac gets point blank asked, "Have you ever cheated?" We've had all the promos, all the lead up. That was framed around this moment with Zac being outed as a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Then we hop over to the cocktail party for the date, and Zac tells the story about how he fell in love in 6th grade and ended up French kissing another girl at a bowling alley. Like, come on. Shame on you, Bachelorette. We had all that build up for one little kiss at bowl-a-rama. Come on. So yeah, all that speculation and drama, it's gone. It's over. Tayshia and Zac fully admit that they're falling in love with each other. Also, that was another thing. Zac gets asked, "Are you falling in love with Tayshia?" in front of all the other guys on the lie detector. Moving on to number 3 on our list, the conclusion of the Noah and Bennett drama. As we all know now, apparently not the conclusion, but hey, this is where we started tonight's episode, and it would be remiss not to talk about it. So Bennett gets sent home, and at the start of the season, his whole shtick was a little bit endearing. It was entertaining. He built up a lot of fans, but as this season has dragged on, and we've started to see more of that condescension and that air of superiority that he tries to lord over the other men in the house, and even to a certain degree, Tayshia herself. It's just time to send Bennett packing. He's so full of crap. Like, I'm over it. And I really enjoyed that little moment that we got of Noah hitting back on Bennett about the emotional intelligence. Bennett went through the list last week, telling Noah how deficient he is in all these areas of emotional intelligence. And I enjoyed Noah hitting back for a brief moment about how lacking Bennett was in his self-awareness. So at the end of the 2-on-1, Bennett gets sent home, nobody gets a rose, and we carry on. So that brings us to number 4 on our list, the return of Bennett. Right at the end of the episode tonight, Bennett, he comes back to throw his Hail Mary, his last-ditch effort to stay on the show. And honestly, I feel like this is a little bit too little, too late. And if he was really wanted to be genuine about this relationship, should have spent a lot less time trying to sabotage so many of the other guys and using his minion Ed to manipulate other people in the house. All season long we've seen it over and over. So was not surprised to see Bennett come into his conversation with Tayshia and use the exact same script that he had just failed at earlier in the episode during his 2-on-1 with Noah. He said all the same things in the exact, like a lot of them, the sentences seemed like they were the exact same wording. Not like he even rephrased things, just the exact same thing. But he did step things up a notch by lobbing out his Hail Mary, "I love you," and it was met mediumly, I would say. It wasn't a cool reception. He did get a pretty harsh rejection when he went in for the kiss at the end of the conversation, which brought me back to a moment earlier in the season when Blake interrupted the one group date for Claire earlier in the season, and then had the audacity to go in for the kiss at the end and got flatly rejected by Claire. So I don't know how this is going to end with the Bennett saga. He's probably coming back with some degree, but he's not getting a hometown. There's no way he's getting a hometown over someone like Ivan or Brendan. It's just not happening. Like, I just don't see that connection being stronger with Bennett, someone who she already made the decision to send home, than with, like Zac. Like, who is she going to pick, Zac or Bennett? Like, no brainer. She's going with Zac. Right? Last on our list, our number 5 is that sham of a cocktail party that we went through. With the cocktail party, none of the conversations seemed to carry any sort of weight. And then we went into the rose ceremony, whoa, 3 guys are going to be going home. Holy. And then I start looking around and I'm seeing Spencer and I'm thinking, we haven't seen anything from Spencer this week or last week or the week before. So that's a guy who's just had no screen time. And then there's DeMar. He hasn't had any screen time all season long, whether it be with Claire or Tayshia. And then lastly, Ed, whose highlight of the season was having a glass of wine with Chris Harrison. So those three get sent home, and it's just like, how did we get this deep into the season with that large of a group of guys that when they get sent home, everyone in Bachelor Nation's just like, meh, oh well, maybe we'll see him on Paradise. Who knows? All right, that is going to wrap things up for me tonight. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back again next week for both Monday and Tuesday in a special 2-episode week of The Bachelorette as we ramp up to close things out, I believe before Christmas or the week after Christmas. I'm not totally sure on that, but this show is coming to an end very quickly, and we still have a lot to see through hometowns, final 3, final 2, and finally seeing who put a very sparkly ring on Tayshia's finger. So until next week, we will see you later.